He has said this in the past about incidents that relate to him as well.
Kellyanne Conway talking about Rob Porter's situation at the White House. Karen Travers, ABC News White House correspondent, joins us. Karen Travers, it seems like over the weekend that the White House at least admits in some way that they believe the women when it comes to this Rob Porter story.
Well, the president in the tweets that he put out over the weekend doesn't address that, and certainly critics would say fan the flames and doesn't indicate that he does believe them. He said people's lives are being shattered and destroyed by a mere allegation. Some are true and some are false. The president said, is there no such thing any longer as due process? But I think the other thing that, you contrast that with what the president said on Friday, where he focused entirely on Porter, said that Porter says he's innocent, and you have to remember that. It was a very different message than what we heard from Vice President Pence at the end of the week, who in an interview said that there's no tolerance or place for domestic abuse in this country and in this administration. No message like that, though, from the president since this story broke, now coming on 7 days.
Yeah. President Trump, I guess the biggest criticism is that he never mentioned the ex-wives of this Rob Porter. Have they said anything about any of this?
Yeah, there was a Time magazine piece by one of Porter's ex-wives who was responding to what the president said late last week. She said she was floored and that a friend said to her that the president just called you a liar. And she said, yes, he did. She said if the most powerful people in the nation don't believe her story of abuse in the face of overwhelming evidence, she writes, what hope do others have of being heard? She says that if people find the strength and courage to come forward and talk about these things, they should be believed.
Yeah, it's interesting, this story, because was this Rob Porter, was he fired or did he leave on his own?
It's a very murky picture, and there's a lot of different statements, messages, timelines, everything coming out of the White House. Certainly a lot of confusion of John Kelly telling staff that as soon as he heard about it, he told Porter to hit the road. But certainly that first night when these allegations were going to be published in the Daily Mail, the statements of very significant public praise that came out from John Kelly, from Sarah Sanders, they were crafted in part with the communications director, Hope Hicks, who's largely a behind-the-scenes, nobody really knows her type of character in this administration, but somebody who is a very, very close aide to the president. She's also been in a relationship with Porter, which certainly has complicated things. We are told that the president is furious at his chief of staff, John Kelly, and at Hicks for how they handled this, and that late last week, Kelly told the president he would be willing to resign. But over the weekend, public statements of confidence in John Kelly.
Yeah, all right. On the field, the president is going to unveil his new budget today?
The budget will be coming out today, as well as the president's infrastructure plan. The president will be calling for $200 billion in new federal funding. But this overall plan of $1.5 trillion, the bulk of that, everything but $200 billion, will be the White House wants to see come from state and local governments. They'll be providing incentives to get them to put up the money, as well as private partnerships. So it's still a big ask to even get Congress to give $200 billion in federal funding right now. The White House says the money would come from savings and redirecting of money from other places in the budget.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens there. Most importantly, Karen Travers, we haven't spoken to you since your double duty last week in Philadelphia covering the parade. I'm assuming you survived it?
It was fantastic. It was festive and fun. No knucklehead contingent, as the mayor of Philadelphia called them. Everything was very orderly. I'm hoping that my Twitter followers, my husband, my friends are still tolerating me, still talking about the Super Bowl now 1 week later.
After all of your suffering as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, was it worth it?
It was great. And, I'd never gone to any parade or anything like that. I didn't do the World Series parade in 2008. And I see why people go. It's really fun. And, it wasn't just about adoring the players. It was really nice to see everybody quite literally on the same team, wearing the same colors and being happy about something. As I joked with colleagues, maybe I just need to get out of Washington more. Perhaps just a little jaded being here. But it was nice to see everybody all agreeing on something.
There you go. Karen Travers, thanks for checking in. Have a good day.